Today, I'm going to unbox and take a quick look at Cruel Necessity, the English Civil Wars of 1640 to 1653. This is from Worthington Publishing, but is a reprint or deluxified version from Victory Point Games, I think was the original publisher of this. And this is the English Civil Wars, which I am starting to build up my collection a little bit on that. Recently I did this War Without an Enemy, which is a block Civil War game. Did that, unboxing and a little bit of an overview on that. And I also have Unhappy King Charles, which is a card-driven game, or point-to-point game from GMT Games. So this is my third in the strategic level of English Civil War games. So this is completely solo or only solo. So got a lot of variety here between card-driven block and now solo. See on the back of the box here, we have some counters, and if I know Worthington, these are probably going to be, decent thickness and pre-rounded. So nice counters there. We've got a mounted map in here. We have some cards, and then you can kind of see the map, and there's some tracks here on the monarchy and I think like religion and can't know if that's Ireland and Scotland possibly. Anyway, I've not played this game, but I've heard a little bit about it, and I was interested in it mainly because it's a solitaire game. It also, I think, it is kind of a variation or derives some core mechanics from the States of Siege system that was made popular by Victory Point Games. This doesn't look like your typical States of Siege map, but there are some different zones here or different colored areas, so I imagine that draws into that in some respects. So, as we see on the back of the box here, Cruel Necessity is a solitaire game simulating the military, political, and religious struggles of the English Civil Wars in the mid-17th century. You attempt to stop the advance of four armies bent on destroying Parliament and Puritanism, whom you represent. Simply hold on to London is not enough. You must also suppress the enemies of Puritanism, parliamentary government, and English domination. There are civil wars going on not just in England, but in Scotland and Ireland too, and each will have varying impact on the play of the game at different times. You will struggle to decide how best to preserve and propagate the principles of the Enlightenment and Reformation through the zeal of the zeal your actions generate. And this is game complexity is a little bit on the high scale, it shows here, which is interesting. It's just below high, but the solitaire suitability is high because this is solitaire only. Ages 14 plus. Sorry, don't have that up there. Victory within 1 to 3 hours. So there's the complexity, solitaire, and then some of the other comments we were talking about there. See that a little bit better. So let's get inside the box and see what we have in here. Nice box. I mean, Worthington does a really good job when they, redo some of these old Victory Point titles. Good thick box there. You have your rule book here, which is 26 pages. And you have, looks like you might have some different scenarios here. On the back, let's flip to the front and see what we have. So it's a full color, a little bit of a gloss on it. As you can see from the shine of the lights. Here's your here's a player aid here, and I believe there's another player aid on the thicker stock inside the box as well. But here is a nice player aid at the front here. You got your sequence of play, list of player actions, key to words and symbols, success and failure, and the siege of Oxford. Interesting there. So here's your introduction, your game equipment. I'm gonna pull this out just a little bit so I can actually turn the pages. So it looks like we have dual column, but full color with examples in both images and Maybe I don't know, see if I need any notes yet, but you have some of these boxes here with interesting content. And here's the setup. Sequence of play, objectives, event card phase. Yeah, I mean, just by the look of this looks a little bit different than your typical States of Siege, so maybe that's why there's a little bit higher complexity on the back here. Here's some notes here. There's a note and also some examples here as well. Ooh, that's interesting. Procedure. A little bit of play on words here. So a lot of talk of sieges. Here's zeal points. So you have some tracks here. So you got a lot of different things that this is managing. It's managing politics, religion, probably, support for the monarchy or versus the parliament. And then you also have, military actions going on the board as well. So quite a bit of stuff going on here. And it's all solitaire. Here's battle. So here's all your combat rules. They go on for a little bit of time here. There's some examples here. Here's an extended battle example. And some imagery to help support it. Here's your action phase with a lot of examples and some important notes there. Procedure. They like that. So interesting here. Revolting example. That's a revolting example. Here's a designer note, historical note. Into time phases, housekeeping phase. And here's victory or defeat. And since it's solitaire, you're basically going up against a score to see how well you did. And here's an example of scoring, I believe. It goes on for several pages here. Here's some optional rules. Then we have some scenarios. We have the first Civil War setup, second Civil War setup. And then we have third Civil War setup. So you've got 3 different scenarios that come in the box. That's kind of cool. Here's that player aid I was mentioning. This is on a little bit thicker stock. And then on the back, you have tactical battle, sequence of play, rules to remember here, victory, draw, defeat. This is like your final scoring type stuff. So not bad. Not bad little player aid there. Here are your counters, which there are, it's interesting, let's go a little bit of imagery there on the outside. There's 2 counter sheets, and they're good thickness, pre-rounded, and so not a ton of markers, and I think these are to mark out sieges. There's some key cities or locations that are under siege, and I think this tracks the value. And there's a lot of charts or tracks on here, so a lot of this is for that. See the back side of them. And these are all the military units, I believe. And see the back side of them. Then we have the map board, which I'll probably have to go up periscope for that. But it's a mountain map. And then we have a tray. Worthington does this from time to time, more often than not, having nice dice, but have this little tray here where you can, this is plenty of ample room to place all the counters you have here. You only have 2 sheets. And then also a place to put your cards as well. So let's take a look at some of the cards here. The third English Civil War, the second English Civil War, and the first English Civil War. So I think these are like setup cards for those different scenarios, possibly. Then we've got the cruel necessity on the back. The cards are nice. There's a little bit, Can't really tell if there's a linen finish there, but they're decent thickness. Cards are numbered as well. But this is the heart of the game, because this is how that when you're the States of Siege type system is going to play out through these cards. Let's see what cards we have in here. These have the similar back. Let's give me some help with the cards. It's a little bit bowed. These are not, but nothing that a little bit of finagling will do. So we've got two different backs here. These go with this same back here. So these are all the heart of the game type cards and help move things forward. And there's a lot of text on there, and it's really small, and there's a lot of symbols. So that, again, is probably why the complexity is what it is, because just looking at these cards, I can't really tell you how this game rolls. But gonna need to do something with a little bit of the bowing there on them, and they will go down in the thing here. Then these are battle events. So you have a whole deck of battle events here. And there's going to be some history here. That's another reason why I like the States of Siege, or why I like historical games or war games in general, because of the history. So you're going to learn a little bit about what went on during that period, not only through the cards and the historical text and just reading into some of the counters and seeing how things are displayed and figuring out your own strategy, that you're going to figure out something about history. We can only hope, right? There you go. So there are the cards that you get here. Now let's look at that map. Take a look at that. I have to go up Periscope for that. Nice mounted map, and I generally like Worthington maps. So this is a pair of pants map, as you can see here, because you got two. Let's go up a little bit here. Got two legs on it, and it lays out this way, which is nice. Nice. So you can see the whole map there. A lot of tracks here. There's a draw pile, there's a discard pile. Available achievements up there. Here's a strength and dice roll modifiers holding box. Here's a royalist musket and pike draw pool. Some tracks over here. This looks like a place where you put military units. Here's the parliamentary musket and pike unit. So this is, I think, part of the combat part, I would think. Victory, draw, defeat, part of, I guess, final scoring. Battle events, discard, battle events, draw. Here's your zeal points down here. And again, these tracks are covering a lot. Here, like zeals on this track. So this is Puritanism versus Catholicism. This is Parliament versus Monarchy. And this is Scotland and Ireland. Because again, there's some other civil wars going on in the course of this. And then you have all these different regions. And here is, you know, there was a little notch in some of those hexagonal counters. So that's where you're going to keep track, I think, of the strength of these areas for siege purposes, I would imagine. There's like card numbers here. So I think this is like when you draw certain cards, this is where they take effect. So you get an idea of the location. So that references the cards. And there you have it. And you've got the Irish Troubles. You've got Scotland here. You've got Lower and Northern. This is York. I don't know what, I don't see a title for these regions here. Here's London. It's the place that you need to, I would imagine, protect at all costs. But there you have it. That is what you get in a box of, oh man, just picking that up. Look at that. I just popped one out just by picking picking up the counter sheet. So they do come out very easy. But that's what you get in a box of Cruel Necessity. What's not to like there? It looks very interesting, to say the least. I got to bow those cards a little bit over time. But, looks like it's based in part on the States of Siege system, but it's going to be a little bit to figure out how that plays out, right? Because it looks a lot different than what I'm used to on the States of Siege system. But there you have it. That is the box of, I'll put this, where do I want to put this at? I'll put this here. That is what you get in a box of Cruel Necessity from Worthington Publishing. And I gotta say, it looks interesting. This looks it looks different than any of the other States of Siege games that I've played. And there's a lot going on here. So maybe that complexity that they said was just below high is probably more accurate than I had originally expected for a game like this. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thank you for spending some time with me. The best way I know that you spend some time and stop by is drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Have you played this version of it, or have you played the old Victory Point Games version of this, which I think came with like a puzzle map maybe? They were doing those later on in their tenure. What do you think of this game? I know some people, I've seen some people online or seen some commentary that they really do like this game. And since I'm exploring the English Civil Wars, I thought this would be yet a different perspective on the English Civil Wars. And you know me, I'm all about perspectives and looking at things in a little bit different light to try to understand them a little bit better. And so this one seems to fit that bill just by the little I've looked at it so far. Anyway, thanks again, and hope you have a good one. Thanks for watching.